Hello, my name's Carson, and welcome back to A Film a Week. Marriage Story follows two characters, Charlie, a successful theater director in New York, and Nicole, a semi-popular actress, as they go through a painful divorce. The film captures what it means to be in love and the heartache of the falling out. It takes the viewer on a ride through what feels like real life, and at some point you forget you're watching a movie as you're just enthralled by the rising tensions between the two characters. Every action the characters take feels like an act of desperation. To improve their circumstances, each must hurt the other. The writing, the editing, the cinematography, the acting, almost everything in this film was executed with brilliant purpose and finesse. And I think all of this is encapsulated in my favorite scene from the film, the argument. In this video, I aim to analyze the thematic elements and techniques that help this scene serve as an intensely cathartic experience, and how it helps convey Marriage Story's themes with a gut-wrenching blow. The scene opens up with Nicole entering Charlie's apartment. Charlie offers Nicole something to drink, and she opts for a juice box. The conversation is awkward and uncomfortable. This is expected as they just had a heated feud in court, deciding the fate of their living conditions and their son. And because of that, there's a clear disconnect between the two. The only time they experience a true connection is when they talk about Henry. And while doing research for this video, I stumbled across Noah Baumbach, the director, analyzing the argument. And he brings up an interesting comparison between Henry, their son, and the juice box.
And I felt like the juice box is Henry's presence in their lives and in our lives as an audience, that he's not in this scene, he's not here, but he is there, and he's really powerless in this situation.
That video will be linked in the description. Also in Baumbach's breakdown, he mentioned how movement played a big role in shaping the scene. The shot blocking and motion tell the story of our two characters on their own. And what I did to really understand how the movement affected the storytelling, I went and watched the argument scene with sound and captions completely off. And I encourage you to do the same. This allows the choreography to take center stage and lets you see just how deliberate the directing was. Back to the scene. As their conversation about the divorce becomes more and more intense, Nicole begins moving, mirroring the fact that she's the one pushing the plot for the majority of the film, the one pushing the divorce, while Charlie continues to sit in content. You can tell each side is aggravated, but their moves remain poised and controlled. Finally, when Charlie is aggravated enough, when he can no longer ignore the situation, he gets up, but not to confront Nicole. Instead, he moves to invest himself in his work, cleaning dishes, closing cabinets, washing his hands. He deflects as he has continuously done throughout the film. Amazing set design and editing further convey the disconnect between the two. They are divided by a wall, separated by rooms physically and cuts in the film, exemplifying their lack of a true connection and communication. But Nicole pushes into Charlie's side of the room, into the same shot. Nicole challenges Charlie, trying to get him to face their problem. Yet Charlie continues to walk away, burying himself in chores and work. Nicole then takes a different approach. Instead of pushing into Charlie, she attempts to, as Baumbach stated, coax out Charlie, like Charlie is a scared animal. She succeeds in this as Charlie comes rampaging out. Here we notice that the movements are becoming more sporadic, more violent, more vicious. Their poised and dignified act are beginning to unravel. After this short confrontation, Charlie once again confides himself in his work. He runs from the problem. This next fragment can be seen as a masterclass in editing and camera work. The use of different focal lengths in this scene shows the audience just how personal and intimate this all really is. At the beginning of this scene, as their words and demeanor were enveloped with equanimity and composure, the camera was back, far away. This displayed the true distance and the disconnect between the two. They built up barriers and walls between each other to save themselves from any more anguish and hurt. But this constant vitriol is slowly tearing down at the barriers and unraveling their dignified persona to reveal their pent-up emotions. And the different focal lengths mirror this, pushing closer and closer into the couples as they hurl increasingly horrible insults at each other. Their motion is much stronger now, with much more ferocity and with higher intensity, matching their rising emotions and their harsher words. And as their defensive mechanisms begin to slowly break down, their true feelings come to light. The root of their anger comes to fruition.
But there's so much I could have done. I was a director in my 20s who came from nothing and was suddenly on the cover of fucking Time Out New York. I was hot shit and I wanted to fuck everybody and I didn't. And I loved you and I didn't want to lose you. But I'm in my 20s and I didn't want to lose that too, and I kind of did.
Are you kidding me? I wanted to be married. I'd already lost. You didn't love me as much as I loved you.
This isn't about where the court tells them to live. This isn't even really about Henry. This is about them. It's about their love. It's about the heartache and turmoil they've experienced during their marriage. They do truly love each other, but they just didn't know how to express it to the other. They lacked communication. They lacked a connection. And they know that they messed up something that could have been so great, something that could have been so fulfilling, and it's just too much for them. So they push the blame onto each other, condemning the other half for their own mistakes. They are simply two scared, inexperienced adults trying to find their way through their lives, through their love. Baumbach had this in mind when he wrote the screenplay, as seen in Nicole stamps her feet and shakes her fists, like a child having a tantrum. And I think comparing Nicole and Charlie to children here is absolutely genius. Because while their argument and their marriage were filled with heavy adult themes, what they truly wanted was something pure, something innocent, something childlike, a simple familial love. And finally, as the last insults are said, a moment of silence falls onto them. The vitriol has taken its toll. Charlie falls to the ground weeping, depicting his eventual loss in court. But Nicole is there to console him, and he accepts her comforting touch. And that's the end of the scene. That's the end to the tragic, heart-wrenching argument. A moment of connection. A moment of love. And isn't that what this whole film is about? Finding peace in pain. Finding a connection in turmoil. After all, this is a marriage story told through the lens of divorce. This is a story of unification told through the lens of separation. This is a story of falling in love as told through the falling out of it. This 5-minute scene perfectly epitomizes Marriage Story's themes of universal pain and love. And by utilizing choreography, editing, writing, and direction to its fullest potential, this argument scene encapsulates the highs and lows of their relationship, the unraveling and undoing of years upon years of pain, and the bittersweet emotion of their splitting.
I love you.
I love you too.